Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Good Intentions with Lisa-Tien. That is me. I just got a new light and it works. It's a magnet, so I have to face my phone the other way so I cannot see myself. And I don't really know how I feel about it. It's just gonna be what it is, to be honest. I have no idea what I look like. I don't know if my titties are too much, if my nipples are showing. I don't even know how the light looks. Like, I keep taking test videos with the light and I'm literally staring right into the light. So one of my clients recommended it. She's a YouTuber, so we're just gonna give it a go and we'll see how this looks. I don't know if I have the intensity. If the intensity is enough. I feel like I should have set something to be where I'm at to see instead of just with nothing. Anyway. Wow. The come up game is strong as fuck this week. We are locking in. And again, I keep staring at the light. Hopefully it's not like terrible for my eyes. I'm like trying to look at the camera, which the camera's like over here. I need to have like a fake model. I should have just put this other ring light as myself and make sure that, yeah, everything's good. Anyway, we are locked in, loaded, seasons changing, goals, let's go. This whole last week, I tracked my calories. I'm eating within the calories. I'm weighing myself every day just to keep track of it. I'm logging my shit. I'm tracking my weight. I'm like locked in. Like I said, summer was a little feral. And to be honest, I don't even remember what I talked about in the last episode. Was I still crashing out? Crash out season is over, guys. Okay? It's over. We're a fucking bad bitch. I think that's what I talked about in the last episode was out of nowhere I remembered who the fuck I was. Like, hello. So after that epiphany that I had, 4 days locked and loaded, guess who texted me? Sweet Bee. He texted me, hi, with a million eyes. And my first thought was, just don't text back. What could this boy possibly want? Of course he texted me. You know, I kept going back and forth, like, just delete the text, block his number, just don't respond. I kind of sat on it for a little bit, and then I decided to just respond back with being honest and telling the truth. Like, hey, you're darling, but I'm not looking to just hook up anymore. And he was like, well, I wasn't going to say we had to do all that. Haha. And I was like, okay, so you just came to say hi? And he said, no, how have you been? And the whole time I'm texting him, I was just like, ugh, like, what the fuck do you want? You know, I'm just being very short and entertaining him anyway. He texted me at like 9 p.m. And then I just figured he just wouldn't respond like he usually does. You know, our texts kind of just die and it just is what it is. And then it bled over into the morning, and then we're talking throughout the day, and halfway through the day, I was just like, okay, so what brings you here? Like, what do you want? And he was like, I'm just checking in with you, smiley face, miss ya. And of course, I was just like, bleh, gross, but also intrigued. So I responded and I said, miss you too. And then he was like, well, would you want to go out with me sometime, or has that ship sailed? And in my gut, it should have been, and I knew it should have been, absolutely not. Don't text back. Don't respond. Stop entertaining him. But for the plot, I said, I was like, I mean, you're welcome to take me out, but I'm going to want to take things slow this time. So, and he was like, haha, okay. Are you free this weekend? And I was like, I'm free tomorrow, which was a Saturday after 4. And he said, we should do something then, smiley face. And I was like, okay, what do you want to take me to go do? And then I guess he like passed out or whatever. And then, in that text, I was like, preferably at a reasonable hour. And then he texted me the next day and was like, what time do you prefer? And I was like, let's do 6. And he was like, could you do a little later? And then again, I thought to myself, just don't fucking respond. Like, already, why ask me what time you prefer if we're just going to do later when also I said I want to do earlier? Like, it's just ADHD brain. I feel like squirrel, like, ooh, you know? That first week we talked, he was down to see me whenever, didn't matter what time of day. And now here we are back to, can we do a little later? Can we do a little later? So then, of course, I responded after an hour or so. And I was just like, okay, what time? And he said around 8, question mark. And then I was like, where are we going? LOL. And he didn't respond. So I kind of knew that was a possibility, but I also wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt for the millionth time. And it really isn't the millionth time. It's what he ghosted me once. And then the next couple times that we hung out was just like hooking up. Probably like 2 times after that. So whatever, I then texted him around like 6, I think. And I was just like, it's giving a fuckboy, babes. And yeah, he didn't respond. And I was like, all right, well, that's that. And that was going to be that anyway. And then, of course, I didn't block him. I kind of just, I don't know. I just wanted to see what he would say, I guess. But like, why? Why do I want to see what he's going to say? Because it's just going to be another stupid ass excuse, or it's just going to be bullshit. But I'm still like entertaining this. And of course he didn't respond and whatever. Like, I didn't crash out. I didn't feel any kind of negative emotion. I was just like, all right, well, there it is. Thank you, universe, for this. Like, I was investing time in myself. I'm tracking everything. I'm being consistent. I'm going to the gym. I'm going on walks. I'm doing whatever makes me feel good. And the universe brings you something to test you, right? And I bit. So, but it was like a very great sense of freedom. It was like, there it is. Closure. Fuckboy. And I ended up, I was like, you know what? I never give constructive criticism. I just block and move on, whatever. And I thought to myself, he's probably not even going to read it. He probably doesn't even give a fuck. But I was like, I'm going to send one last text and then just block him immediately. And I just wanted to be kind, regardless of how shitty his behavior has been. For whatever reason, I was like, I'm just going to say my piece and then I'm going to block him and we're going to move on. And so I ended up texting him. I was like, I genuinely wish you the best of luck. Like, you're an interesting puzzle that I would have liked to figure out, or like wanted to figure out, or whatever exactly. I don't remember what I said, but then space, second paragraph. It wasn't a paragraph. It was just those lines. And then new paragraph. I was like, piece of advice. If you actually like a girl, put in effort and be intentional. And if you're just wanting to fuck around, then just be straight up. Anything else is just playing games. And I was like, I hope you find a lovely gal that treats you well and vice versa. No hard feelings on my end. And I sent it, blocked him on Instagram. I didn't block him on Instagram that night. Okay. I woke up, I felt so good. I was like smiling, upbeat, just my regular self. Like, we're fucking back, baby. We are back. We're back. We're feeling great. We're doing amazing things. I'm listening to my podcast, walking, all of the things to feed me, to make me, to just give like good dopamine shit, right? I'm not smoking weed anymore. This last weekend was the first weekend that I haven't been high. This whole last week was the first week that I haven't been high in 3 months, which is pretty fucking crazy if you think about it. Like, I'm not an addict, but it was kind of like a dependence and a habit that I said I wanted to break, but I couldn't really break because squirrel, you know? Oh, this is going to be my last pre-roll. Ooh, but there's a smoke shop across the street from work. Boom. The universe just plays out things for you, right? So like this CBD shop that I was going to that's across the street from work, their lease didn't get renewed, so they're no longer there. There is a smoke shop close to my house, but they don't have the stuff that I like. They just have like random bullshit stuff. So I don't really like going there. So anyway, yeah, that smoke shop's done. And I was like, now it can't be, now it's not that convenient anymore for me to get it. And sure, I can go out of my way to get it, but like, I'm not going to do that. So this whole last week, didn't smoke. Over the weekend, didn't smoke. Went and got a coffee that is right next to a smoke shop that does have the stuff that I like. It's the Cheech and Chong pre-rolls. And then they have like other pre-rolls that I kind of like too. And I had to mentally prepare myself. I was like, you're going to get a coffee. Stay in the car. We're going through the drive-thru. Okay. We're not going to stop at the smoke shop. Blah, 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 blah. And then my ADHD bestie, Justin, we were talking about hanging out yesterday. So we did. And it was so much fun. We just did like a fun pool day. Just hanging out, laying out for however long. I don't know. We've been hanging out for like 30 minutes. And then I brought up how I have dinner with my mom. It's my aunt's birthday. We're going to this new buffet that just opened, blah, 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 blah. Side tangent, kind of just talking about catching up on life and shit. And then I was like, we're not drinking alcohol right now. We're not smoking. Really proud of ourselves for not doing so. However, I mentions that I have some leftover candy from like a year ago when I went to my plug for a rainy day that I just saved, and I just never took it. I was like, I don't really want to do this. Like, I'm kind of just over it, but I still have it. And what a perfect day to do it. And so we did. It's Molly. Had a great time. We were floating around in the pool for a couple hours, and then, it started to get hot. So then we went inside and watched like a Martin Garrix set. Straight, feeling amazing, right? And then he ended up leaving after it was starting to wear off. And as the come down was happening, I am now sucked into my mind, sucked into these thoughts. Kind of just, so the last time I rolled was last summer. And last summer I had this out of body experience. Last summer with Justin and my ex-husband at a pool party. It was like an out of body experience, realizing the life that I actually was living and the person who I actually was married to, not who I thought. And it was like, boom, 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 all these flashbacks, boom, hello, eyes open, rose-colored glasses shattered, narcissist, you're in danger, you have to leave. That's the last time I rolled. So this time around, it was like boom, boom, boom. Flashbacks of moments with Sweet Bee, how there were so many flags, right? And very clear that I am not, this person I am not aligned with. And he even said it himself. Like one of the times we hung out, he was like, I feel like you're like too pretty for me. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like you could do better. Yeah, I can. And part of the thing that I realized that low-key kind of made me a little sad was like, it was a very humbling experience, me realizing how wounded I am from my childhood shit, from the lack of safety with my parents. And I'm not going to blame them, right? They did the best that they could, the best that they knew how to do based off of how they were raised. And it's just very clear. And then I'm thinking about all of my friends, and I'm like, obviously there's a reason that we're all friends. We're all wounded. We all have this wound, and it is love. It is having parents, whatever their fucking trauma is, right? Generational trauma, their shit passes down to our shit. And if we don't feel safe emotionally, mentally, physically, if we weren't shown that calm, understanding love, like we weren't shown that, we weren't modeled that, we're not going to know how that looks like, and we're not going to know like everything that we search for in a partner. From then on, we are searching for that love that we did not receive. And the more dysfunctional, the more unaware we're going to be chasing things that aren't good for us. And so the humbling experience was realizing like, oh, I am very aware of the shit that went down in my childhood, and I am consciously putting an effort to retrain my mindset, to be more vigilant, to actually be present and see things for what they are, and not fall into this delusional tornado of emotions and all that stuff. And the down part I felt was like, okay, did I actually learn anything? Because here I am again with a 24-year-old, okay, age, nothing but a thing, right? Like if he was raised better, if he was more mature at that age, then it wouldn't have been an issue. But he is actually very immature. He is a boy, right? It's like he still does what his parents tell him to do. He doesn't have sheets on his bed. He doesn't have a headboard. His toothbrush is freaking like old, needs to go. Loofah needs to go. Shower curtain needs to be changed, right? He just moved back home. He says he's just going to be there for a month. Who fucking knows how long he's actually going to be there? Because he said when he was still in his apartment, he said that, yeah, my lease is up. I'm going to move back home for a month, and then I'm going to probably go get an apartment on my own. And I was like, oh, have you looked into an apartment yet? And he's like, to be honest, no. Okay. He also doesn't eat pussy. He doesn't eat mustard. He doesn't eat seafood. Like there's just, it's like he is a boy. He is a boy. Okay. Being 24, you can have 24, whatever age, 30. The maturity is just not there. And I was very aware of that. And I knew, and I knew, and I knew. Yet, however, it's his 6'4" cutie fucking ass. His like sweet demeanor, right? But as I was rolling, it was like all of these things kind of started to come to, like little moments where I was like, oh, that was a flag. That was a flag. And it may not have been a red flag, but there have been things that he said or different tones or whatever, where it was like, I was so wrapped up in him being cute and me thinking he was like naive to, oh, he might know what he's doing. Like, I don't want to fall deep into like, oh, he was manipulating me or fucking any of that shit. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. My mindset about it coming out after that today, right, is different from what it was last night. Like last night, I kind of wasn't feeling the greatest in comparison to how I felt when I woke up yesterday. When I woke up yesterday, it was like, boom, 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 let's go. Light, happy, smiling, glowing. And then we rolled, and then we had these epiphanies, right? And I kind of forced myself to go on a walk afterwards because I was like, we got to get moving. We got to breathe. We got to like get out of the room and out of laying there on top of me listening to this same song, which is such a beautiful song, but it is an emotional song and it puts me in my feels. So it's just like you're keeping yourself in this state. And the state is like, sure, it's okay to feel things, but this state was very like sad and dwelling, and it was very, I forced myself to go on that walk. I didn't really smile that much. I'm still listening to the same two songs. And then I come inside, I start the shower, I'm sitting on the toilet, still listening to the song and repeat. And I cried for like 10 to 20 seconds. It wasn't a lot. It was just me mourning like little Lisa, basically. Because she was a child when all of these things happened. All of the many times she felt unsafe, the sexual abuse, the not knowing how to say no, and me realizing like, oh, that's why I'm uncomfortable with saying no, because I don't know how they're going to react, because when I was a kid, I didn't say no because I was scared, and all of it is out of fear, and all of it is childhood, inner child shit. And that became, again, very real and very humbling, because it still affects me to this day. No matter how much growth I've done, no matter how much awareness I have, on top of that ADHD, like we forget, the story I have, the example I have is when I was shopping at Walmart and I'm buying strawberries because I want strawberries, but the strawberries at Walmart sucks. But I go to Walmart, whether strawberries is on my list or not, I see the strawberries and I'm like, oh yeah, I got to get strawberries. And I don't think to myself, the strawberries suck here. Don't buy the strawberries. And every week I go to the grocery store, I go to Walmart, I buy the strawberries. And it was like, and I don't ever remember until I bite into the strawberry that, oh my gosh, these strawberries suck. Hello? I don't know. It was like 4 weeks, maybe a month goes by that I finally remember, stop buying the strawberries. We're not buying the strawberries here. The strawberries suck. All the produce, actually, not that great. ADHD brain, right? It's like knowing something, squirrel, and it distracts you from the thing. So the thing for me is making it click in my brain, right? And I kind of felt down about it, about like putting in this work and then, getting played, allowing someone the opportunity many a times to play the game. And for what? Because we want to be loved. Because we're desperate to be loved. And as I'm having those thoughts, it's like I'm consciously having to shift it at the same time and reminding myself, we've come a long ass way. This wasn't a 2-year situationship, and this wasn't however long fucking bullshit I put up with side piece for no reason. He literally gave me nothing. We never went on a date. It was never anything. It was just sex. The first time he blew me off, should have blocked him immediately, right? I think we matched on Hinge sometime in like September, I believe. Yeah, it was like before I got my boobs done. Hooked up, it was great. And then every time after that, plans to hang out, canceling last minute, bullshit excuse, and me being the person that I am, overly empathetic and making excuses for random ass people that I actually don't know because they're cute, because of their childhood, because of this, that, or whatever, right? So it's me having these, I don't want to say they're negative thoughts, but me feeling shame, I guess, about why I do the things that I do, and having this mindset of, oh, like I didn't feel safe as a kid, and this happened and that happened, and that's why I am the way that I am today, and I put in all this work to change and to grow, and yet here we are, still allowed this same boy to play me twice. Still kind of felt that way when I woke up today. But again, it's like conscious effort. And I think our phones can like read our minds now. Or maybe they just read our text messages, because when I got on Instagram today, it was very like much uplifting things that I needed to see. And I'm very happy and thankful for that. I watched this one reel that said, it was like a post, and it was two. So the first was like a meme or a caption basically, and it says, this lady explains why she doesn't regret the love that she gives. And she was talking about how she doesn't regret the love that she gives, even if it's to people who don't deserve it, because she has so much love to give. It's not her fault, right? I kept thinking, oh, that's my fault. Like, he didn't play me. I let him play me. Like, it's my fault. But her mindset was very much like, you know, people who have a lot of love to give, we are amazing humans. We stay soft. We want to be loved, so we give love. And we might give love to people who don't deserve it. And that doesn't make us stupid, right? So like, one of the things that I kind of got sucked into last night was like, I wonder if he laughs about me. You know, if he talks about me to his friends, or like, oh, this girl's so easy, or this girl's so dumb, or whatever. And at the end of the day, I had to just tell myself I'm not dumb. I'm an amazing human, and I love love, and I love people. And I liked him. And I'm not going to make myself feel bad for liking someone, because I did. I love people. I love my clients. I love my friends. I love love. I met this boy. I thought he was cute. He's tall. I perceived him to be a certain way, and maybe he is the way that I perceived. Maybe he has these childhood issues. Maybe his relationship with his mom isn't healthy. Maybe it's a codependent relationship. Maybe his mom had a narcissistic mom, because based off of what he was describing, his grandma, and how she's like made his mom cry one time or a few times, and she just, her husband died and she's already with someone else, and blah, 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 and you know, all of that stuff. And him also having ADHD. ADHD is a trauma response, or it is hereditary. So you either have ADHD because one of your parents has ADHD, or you have ADHD because you experience trauma. And that's what kind of keeps you safe. And his ADHD is really fucking bad, I would say. And he's also very avoidant. So for whatever reason, he has his own issues. At 24, he has zero awareness of. Zero awareness, because he doesn't have the capability to communicate and be honest. For whatever reason, if it's shame, if he's afraid how someone else is going to react, or maybe he is just a shitty person. I don't want to believe that he's a shitty person, right? That was the thing that I crashed out about in the beginning, was like, oh my God, did he manipulate me? How did I not see the signs? Blah, blah, blah. On top of me rolling and having these epiphanies and these flashbacks of little moments. And it was just like, hello, it was kind of like there on when we went to lunch, right? So first date, Arboretum, and lunch after. And I asked him how Hinge has been for him, and he was like, eh. I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, you know, I don't know. One minute you think everything's fine, and then the next they kind of just block me out of nowhere. And I don't know. And I tried to wonder, like, what is it about this person that got me to like him when I went on dates with all of these other people, right? I think he's cute, but so were a lot of the other guys that I went out on dates with. I genuinely think it's because he's 6'4". He was the tallest one. But like, he was skinny. He doesn't work out. He plays basketball, but he has long hair. he's a boy. Like, it's like a frat boy almost, energy vibes. And I think what I realized was like in our conversations, there wasn't much that he was saying. Like, I had a good time with him. It was good vibes. But on the other dates, they kind of said more. And the more they give you, the more you're able to see, oh, I don't really like that, right? Like, one of the guys that I went on a date with, we FaceTimed for like 2 or 3 hours, and he kept just saying, like, he just kept giving a lot of information that I was like, that's kind of a red flag. Him saying, oh, I love going out. I love drinking. I love going out. And, you know, I can do that now because I'm single. And whenever I have a girlfriend is whenever I don't do that stuff. And, oh, I'm watching my ex's cat. Oh, don't worry. We're not going to sleep together. She asked me to make her stay. I ain't doing that. Like, it was just a lot of fucking information where I'm just like, it's now suspicious that you're giving me all of this information. With Sweet Bee, he didn't really give me much. We kind of just like joked around or whatever. And him being fucking cute and me making out with him and kissing him was great. So it's also all of that. And now me thinking to myself, how do I prevent this next time? And it's, it's what I already know. It's not hooking up, giving it time and setting boundaries for myself, not staying up all night, talking to them on the phone, like setting boundaries for myself. That first week that we were hanging out, going on dates, chatting, talking on the phone, FaceTiming, see each other every day. In that whole week time span, and then at the end of the week on that Saturday when we were both sick and I called into work, I ended up going over there because I was like, well, I'm sick and I'm on my period. I can go over there. We can cuddle and make out, but like, we're not going to have sex, right? And of course I go over there, and of course I had sex with him. Of course I did. And it wasn't even, it wasn't even all that, but like making out was fun. The second time we had sex, yes, I got mine, and that was great. It was a lot of fun. So it's just a lot of like feel good things, and just because it feels good and they're attracted to you doesn't mean that the compatibility wasn't ever really there. All of the things that I knew that I looked past, a second guessed on, it's like I have to. It's like with the strawberries, like I have to remind myself, don't get the strawberries. They're not good here. Stop buying the strawberries. So today I've really been working on being kind with myself and just, we wanted to love and we wanted to be loved, and we thought he was a sweet baby, and maybe he is, maybe he isn't. What he isn't is for us. And I can't feel bad about that. We took a chance. We gave him a second chance. And he showed his true colors. Like, truly, truly, truly. Because the last couple weeks, every once in a while, in my mind, I would wonder, like, I'm really trying to figure it out. And I had to remind myself that that is a toxic trait of mine, is trying to make sense of all of this, of like who he is and why he is the way that he is. Like, I'm never going to know because I don't know him. I'm never going to find out. And it's not my responsibility to understand or to figure it out. Like, everyone is wounded in some kind of way, and everyone is on their own journey to figure that out, right? It's not my job to figure it out. I don't need to figure it out for a friend, for someone I'm dating, whatever. Like, we are on our journey. And we're not going to learn until we decide that we are ready to learn, that we made sense of this, that it is clicking. And so there we have it. It is another beautiful learning lesson. I feel like it is quite beautiful because everything is working out like boom, boom, boom in a beautiful sequence. I feel like When I finally decided I'm going to stop smoking, I find out the CBD shop across the street isn't getting renewed for their lease, so they're no longer going to be there. And I stocked up on, 4 pre-rolls and some edible syrups. And now I like for a week I was drinking this edible syrup. It's, kind of like a cough syrup. It's not a cough syrup, but it's syrup in a bottle that looks like cough syrup. And the serving size is like a 1/4 teaspoon or whatever. And I'm just taking, a little swig of it and feeling great and, being high and, it feels good. And I had to be like, okay, we got to be done with this because we can't keep getting more high, right? Like pre-rolls weren't doing much for me anymore because I'm smoking it every day, and now I'm on edibles, and these little swigs aren't doing much for me anymore. And now I'm taking more of a swig, and then I'm just getting like really stoned. And for what? Because then I'm so unproductive. I don't want to do anything, so I'm not going to do anything, right? This whole week that I haven't smoked, this weekend, right, I resubscribed to the Shuffle Vault because I want to learn. I want to practice shuffling. I did that last year. And since I've been in this new house, I haven't, because ADHD, it's like the second, even if it's the teeniest bit inconvenient for me, I'm just not going to do it. So me being on the 3rd floor, I don't want to make a lot of noise. If I want to learn how to shuffle, I'm going to have to go downstairs to the garage or like go outside. And this whole last year, I just didn't want to do that. So I resubscribed to it. I'm going to learn. I want to practice. I'm cleaning. I'm tidying up. I'm opening my Amazon packages. I'm doing my laundry on a Sunday, getting that done. So Monday I have less to do. And my mind is starting to feel more clear. It's been good. I'm recording an episode on a Monday, right? I'm getting back to the grind. I'm being consistent. I'm, remembering, I'm using my brain. And unfortunately, weed just isn't for me. I wish and I would love to enjoy it every once in a while. But as far as I can't do it responsibly, it's the same with the nicotine vape. I cannot have it on me in the house because I am not responsible with it. I will hit that shit all day, every day. I will build up phlegm. It will be exhausting to walk upstairs. It makes me feel disgusting, right? And knowing all of these things and still doing it anyway, it's like the fucking strawberries. So with the weed, I know it's been an 8-year learning lesson. I don't know, right? I used to smoke a lot. I smoke and then I quit and then I smoke and then I quit and then I smoke, because in my head, I think I can just smoke this one time. I can just buy this one time and then it feels so great. Food tastes so good, blah, blah, blah. So then I smoke more and I smoke more and I smoke more. And then 3 months go by. Like I remember I started smoking weed again so I would get off the nicotine. And then I got off the weed. And I don't remember how long I got off the weed for. But then I went out for May's birthday, was hungover the next day, felt very nauseous. I was like, I'll just stop and buy a pre-roll and smoke so that I don't feel nauseous. And every day since that day, which was, she celebrated her birthday the last weekend of May. Every day since then, I've smoked. I've been high. I have not been here. And it was fun. Even sometimes I'll smoke and I, can power through and not like binge eat or whatever, but I always end up doing it. And so this whole week, like I just haven't. I've been eating within my calories. And I have ice cream sandwiches. I have fruit snacks. I just haven't been interested in eating all this bullshit. And it's like, as I'm eating, I can use my brain and think to myself, hey, you don't have to eat all of this. It's not that good. Like, it's good, but it's not that good to where you have to eat all of it. And when I'm high, it's like, oh, this food's so amazing, you know? Well, you either know or you don't know, but that's how it's like for me. And so I feel like we are on the up and up. It's the last quarter of the year. I am excited to see how much progress I make by the end of the year and then keep going strong until the next summer. It's hot girl fall, and hopefully it'll be even more hot girl winter and then shredded by the summertime. Hopefully. So that's that. I'm very excited. I actually feel excited recording this episode, as I was excited recording last week's episode, which I think I'm 2 episodes behind. So I finally, I already had this one episode edited. I just haven't downloaded it to my phone. Right? It's all these little things. The 5 minutes it takes to download it off of CapCut, and then to make a cover photo for YouTube, right? And then to upload it on the podcast thing. Like, it's just all these steps that don't take long, but it's slightly inconvenient. And so, like, when I'm high, I just don't want to do shit. I hope to read a little bit tonight. So we shall see. It's been a beautiful journey so far. I feel like summer was great. Took a step back, had fun, went on dates. I really wanted to put into practice everything that I've learned. And I felt like for the most part, I did really well with going on dates and being like, I don't know about this. I don't know about that. And this time around, I feel like really trusting myself, really trusting my intuition and my gut. It's like if I'm second guessing something about someone, I'm not in it. And if I'm already feeling attached, I need to take a step back. Because as I was getting attached to Sweet Bee, I knew that I was like, this is not gonna be good for me. We're talking every day. We're seeing each other often within this week. He goes to Vegas next week. Me not talking or seeing him for however many days that he's gonna be gone, like, I already knew it was gonna be a little tough for me. And that's just not normal. And it's not normal to get attached that quickly. It's just not. And I think one of my friends, maybe it was like, oh, maybe this will be something like her situation where she started dating this guy. I guess, again, just being delusional, me setting myself up for failure. Because I was like testing on these guys, right? I was like, I really want to go to the Arboretum. I want to go on a cutie date with a cutie boy, and I want him to pay for me. And I feel like the guy who finally takes me to the Arboretum might want something a little more serious, because who the fuck is going to want to go to the botanical gardens, right? All these guys just want a low cost, low effort type date. Some of them don't even want to do dinner. Like, they just want to do coffee. They just want to go for a drink just to see if we vibe and then go on a date and whatever. So he took me to the Arboretum. And then we went to lunch, and it was very like, as I was rolling and as I'm realizing all of this, one of the things that made me a little sad was like not having these boundaries for myself and not having high enough standards to where when they do these little things, I'm so like, oh my gosh. And it was because being with my ex for so long, who only wanted to do shit that he wanted to do, didn't want to drive far, didn't want to put in whatever effort this way, or wasn't sweet or whatever, right? I gotta think back to my first ex. Like, he fucking took me to New York City for my birthday. Like, he was always down to go out, and he always paid. And he set the standard, and somewhere along the way, the standard dropped. And we got to get the standard back up there and not feel bad about it, I guess, and not fucking weigh and sway and all of the shit that I do. Oh, well, I wouldn't mind changing out his loofah for him, like if we started dating and buying him a loofah and changing out its toothbrush and blah, blah, blah. Like, bitch, get the fuck out of here. Well, wouldn't mind like picking out his clothes. Do we want to be a wife or do we want to be a mom? Like, come on. And it's the height. It was the 6'4". It was him being sweetie. It was getting sucked into the delusions instead of seeing things for how they are. And oh my God, this next time around is just gonna be better, right? I feel like I felt a little down about it, but we learned, and the time frame, it wasn't that long. We started talking around July 4th, and it's September, so the time frame is shortening, right? I will not ever give him another chance. I blocked his phone number. I blocked him on Instagram. With side piece, I continued to give him these chances, and it was like for nothing. It was for nothing. It was just me wanting to be touched and to be fucked and to whatever with this person. And the fact that I had to like just delete Snapchat off my phone, and again, it was breadcrumbs with that, like him just, well, I didn't even have his phone number. Our freaking way of conversation was through Snapchat. And the fact that I had to delete Snapchat off my phone before I could even block him, like I feel like progress is being made, right? And I can't let this one guy discredit the growth that I have done and the growth that, I can't discredit myself because I have learned and I have gotten a lot further than I ever have been, because all of the other dates that I've gone on where it was like next, not interested, not in alignment, right? Even if someone was being an asshole, boom, ew, don't like that. Not entertaining, not being like, oh, he's an asshole because of this, that, or whatever, right? We got caught up. We did. And sometimes that happens. Again, progress is not linear. We're going to have our ups, we're going to have our downs. And he got me, whatever the saying is, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. ? And I let him fool me twice. And it's fine. It's because I'm a lover girl and I have childhood trauma and we're still processing. And so this next quarter of the year is going to be a lot of inner work, growth, mindset, all of the good things. I'm not opposed to dating. I don't think I want to date anyone within this next month. Like I really want to lock in. And we'll see. Making eye contact, smiling at people, all of those things. So, but again, the sad part was like knowing the truth and knowing that we can't really trust this person. It's like instant fight or flight, instant nervous system rattling when he texts me, and me not really wanting to respond, because when I respond, it's the waiting game of him responding, and that's not healthy. And I know it. I knew it. I know it. And I still entertained it anyway, because I really was hopeful. And that kind of made me sad. I really was hopeful. I was like, well, why is he back? Maybe he was talking to someone and it didn't work out. Or maybe, now that he's back at home, he's bored. Or maybe this, or maybe that. Or maybe it's because I haven't been posting on Instagram as much. And so he's like, what has she been up to? And maybe this time around it would be different. And it wasn't. And it's fine. And we'll learn. Can't feel shame about it. Can't put myself down about it. Can't be negative about it, because it is what it is. I have a lot of love to give and I don't want to regret it. And I still said my piece and it was kind, and it just is what it is. And I will never hear from him again. And we move on to the next. And I can't bamboozle myself. So, what is the enlightening part of this? Well, for one, when you focus on yourself, okay, something that Lewis Howes recently posted on Instagram was, you attract what you are. You attract people who are on the same wavelength as you. And if you're not healed, you're not aware, you're still, doing this, doing that, blah, 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 then you attract people on that same playing field. And when you level up, you attract someone else who has leveled up. And that is something I have to try to remind myself. I want someone to match my energy. If you're not active, you're not going to the gym, right? Those are things that I kept saying whenever I was just starting to like Sweet Bee. I was like, oh, well, he vapes. I don't know if he's going to want to quit. He doesn't really go to the gym. I don't know if he's going to want to go to the gym with me. Maybe I'll see if he will. Maybe blah, 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 blah. And like, what if they don't? And we never talked about anything deep. Okay, anyway, you attract what you are. So if you're scared, you're going to attract someone else who is also scared for whatever reason. Whatever fear it may be, they're going to be afraid because you're afraid, and that's who you're going to attract. And as you grow, as you're aware, as you become sure in yourself, then you attract someone else on that same wavelength. And that is why I just really want to lock in. Deleted the apps, focusing on myself, recentering my energy into being the best version of myself. And I am full of excitement, and I genuinely cannot wait to be loved the way that I was loved with my first ex, but in a more leveled up way, right? Because he had his childhood shit too, and so did I. And then everything was great until it was more anxious and avoidant, and then it wasn't great. But it ended amicably. Like, it ended, we hugged, we cried, chapter closed. And I'm ready for that next chapter. But until then, I'm going to really work on myself and my hobbies and go out and do activities, not smoke, not drink, just live. So I think a lot of us, I think it's natural to go through a shame spiral. Because I did for a split second yesterday when I was on drugs. I was just like, how could I let him fool me? How did I miss all these flags? Blah, blah, blah. He said this. He said that. He was this. He didn't do that. All these things, accepting breadcrumbs. And even or feeling shame about like expressing how I felt. And him not even reassuring me in any kind of way. And if he did reassure me, it was like a breadcrumb and me just eating that up. So you live and you learn, right? And we're going to keep learning. Love life. So I think I'm just going to wrap it up right there. I got to start meal prepping and then practice dancing. So thank you guys for listening. I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.